Good afternoon. Let's see if technology works for us now at the moment. So, good afternoon. I'm only going to be really quick here, and as you'll notice, my title has a question mark. The reason it has a question mark is because I'm going to give you a little bit of information, then at the end see if you really think this is a possibility, because at the moment we don't have a national AED register. So public access defibrillators, they're out there, they're really visible, you see them stuck to walls, that's great, you kind of get an idea where they are. These ones, a lot of people know about them, but the ones that are locked away and bought and purchased by private people, they're stuck in presses, they're stuck down the back of the place, and nobody ever sees them ever again. Something that comes up for me a lot is that it's the most expensive piece of equipment you will ever purchase that you hope never to use. And that doesn't make a lot of sense, but because of that it becomes quite possessive. We spent €1,000 on a piece of equipment, let's hide it away so nobody else can see it. The recent PHECC report, which came out last December, was a HTA report, looked at the PAD scheme nationally for the country, but found that it wasn't cost effective. Again, things come down to money. However, what did come out of the report is that there's approximately 9,000 AEDs, and John touched on that this morning, dispersed around the country. But our biggest thing we want to know about is, where are they? They're no good if they're locked away in a press. As I say, the public access ones, they're in the public eye, they're easily found, but it's the other ones that might be 2 doors down from you, in the business next to where you work. They're the ones you want to know about. So basically what we want to do is we want to let's make what we have there more cost effective by registering it. By registering the AED, it means that we have particular details about the AED, where it's stored, who has access to it, whether it's 24 hours, and basically we want to improve the chance of it being used for a number of reasons. So why register? Registration equals increased knowledge. These are meant to come all look together, technology, see? So increased knowledge, meaning that we have more increased knowledge as to where they are, but also we can increase the knowledge of the person that owns the defibrillator. So a lot of people that own defibrillators are a little bit ignorant to the fact of what they're really for. They're kept away and they think they're only for the staff if the staff get into difficulty, but really and truly they're for anybody that goes into cardiac arrest within a certain radius of them. It helps with quicker access. Improved maintenance. The reason improved maintenance because a third party will be looking at when their equipment is about to go out of date, their pads, their batteries, and they'll be informed. So someone else doesn't have the responsibility of checking it, taking it out of the press wherever it may be stored. Also a theft and loss, if it's registered and an AED is found floating in the river because somebody decided to be a bit malice about it, we should be able to pull the serial number from it and identify who owns it. We've had some commitment from the National Ambulance Service that if we get particular data about defibrillators, they will put them on their system. So when you ring 999 or 112, give them your address, they will tell you that there's an AED within a certain couple of metres of you. And ultimately, it means that we'll probably save more lives. You see Anne Hawks, Hanks earlier on, Tom Gainey, Ryan Callan, these are all people that are alive because of defibrillators. Okay? Just really quickly, don't worry about the stats, but the point is there was a lot of cardiac arrests. This is the most recent report from 2014. So we had just under 2,000 cardiac arrests. Of that, in public places we had, in public place we had 443. So they're your public access defibrillators. So hopefully the ones that are stuck to the business walls and that they'll be used. But in urban areas, so built up sort of areas with businesses and large housing estates, they're the ones we want to target. We want to find out where the AEDs are there. Within these areas and get them registered. So this is where the sort of whole question mark comes in. We're looking for you, the delegates here today, as part of your organisations, be it part of CFR groups or voluntary groups, to come on board with CFR Ireland and register as many AEDs as possible. So we're looking for you to locate them first of all, then we're looking for you to inspect them, a very basic inspection. Do they turn on, do they have pads, so on and so forth. We want you to inform the owners of the AEDs of their importance. Maybe inform them a bit like John said earlier on about the fact that if it was stuck on a wall outside the building, it would get more use. Then we're looking for you to register it and then possibly maintain it. So going forward, once we have them all registered, we might look at a way of returning back to these AEDs in a particular time frame and making sure they're still up to date. So with regards to locate, they're everywhere. Sports facilities, schools, doctors, dentists, you name it. I myself have gone out looking for AEDs recently. I've been surprised where I found them. And I'll just show you at the end the impact it may be. So with regard to inspect and inform, basic checks: is the battery working, are the pads in date, is the OK indicator on. After that, inform the owner of his general condition, best location to locate it, and how to maintain. The registration is electronic, so it's quite straightforward. All we want is the owner's details with name and contact information, defibrillator details such as serial number, make and model, the exact location. Now, GPS is fantastic, but if we're going to register with the National Ambulance Service, we do need air codes now as well, because that's the system they're working off. And then just general maintenance. We want to know when the battery's going out of date and when the pads are going out of date. Regular checkups to ensure presence and condition, so just every now and again, if you know of a particular AED, that you can check maybe once a month to make sure it's still there. And the registered details will be used to inform the owners of when maintenance is required. So just really quickly, we've done a 7-week pilot scheme in Wicklow there recently. We started in January, and we asked many of the coordinators in the Wicklow groups to put it out to their own people in their groups and find out would they mind doing a bit of canvassing in their own community. We managed to register 77 AEDs, most of which people knew nothing about. In businesses, churches, you name it, schools, ones that the community didn't know about. Of that, 5 of them, their batteries were totally useless. So that's 5 AEDs that are useless. 5 AEDs that were not going to defibrillate somebody if they were needed. Also, 12 of those, the pads are out of date. Now, they may have been only out of date by a week, some of them are out of date by 4 years. The chances of these pads working is quite slim because of the contact stuff that's on them. So we're looking for yourselves, and again, this is a question, so the way you will answer whether you think this is possible is we want you to register your interest with us. So if you could email AED Register at cfr.ie, it's quite a straightforward email. I'll leave it there for a moment or two. We just want you to give us your name and contact details, the county you're located in, and then your organisation affiliation. So we're hoping that people will be part of a voluntary organisation such as Order Malta, Civil Defence, your normal CFR groups, or just medically. The reason being is we want you to know what an AED looks like and how to generally use one, because it's hard to inspect an AED if you don't know how it looks. So again, the way you'll answer this is by sending me your details. However, that man over there will strangle me if you all email me at exactly the same time. So if you could drag it out over the next week or two by sending your interest, that'd be great. Now the future going forward is that once we have all these details and it's with National Ambulance Service, we can look at other apps to make things a little bit easier. So Good Sam is an app used in the UK quite widely. And then there's other ones we've looked at here in Ireland, which is like Save a Selfie. They're all in sort of infancy at the moment, but if we can get the data and we have it all there, it's much easier to present it to these companies and say, what can you do with that? So that's my presentation, and we'll take question and answers afterwards.